Okay, so I saw somebody, or a few people actually, say some bad things about carpenter bees, saying that they're pests and that they need to get an area sprayed because there's an infestation of carpenter bees, or carpenter bees have a nest somewhere by. And boy, is that a lot of misinformation. Carpenter bees are solitary. They do not form nests. They live in a single hole in something made out of wood. Because we don't have any trees nearby. There's probably a few in my neighbor's tree. Um, but they are relatively harmless. They do not sting. They don't attack people. They don't bite. They don't do anything to anybody. They are a very beneficial pollinator, and carpenter bees are one of the few bee species that are actually native to America, whereas the honeybee is not native to America. So I don't understand the hate on carpenter bees, since they're one of our native species and they're a very beneficial pollinator. You want bees. And furthermore, if you see a big bunch of carpenter bees around, it is not a sign to spray pesticides. Do you know what it actually is a sign of? You have a really nice garden. So spraying pesticides would destroy it. Carpenter bee drones are seeking out territory right now for mating. So what you're seeing here is males have picked out a nice spot that they think they'll find females at, which this is my compost pile. So a lot of carpenter bees overwinter in my compost pile because I leave plenty of large chunks of wood in there for them to burrow into. So they've decided this is a nice place to look for females, and they're going to hang out here, and they're going to hover, and they're going to dive bomb other males to protect this territory, and they're going to try to mate with any females. But they're going to leave you alone. They're not going to bother you at all. If anything, if they try to dive bomb you, just stay still. That's honestly the best practice. Be calm and still around them, because you are so much bigger than a bee. A bee can actually be caught in your gravitational pull, and you can make the bee follow you without meaning to. So it's always best to stay calm and still around bees. You can see that they're just dive bombing the hell out of each other. This one little bee has marked out his territory. I'm going to go walk over to him, and you're going to see I'm just fine. Hi, little bee. Hi, little bee. Yep, see, he's not going to harm me none. I'm just calm, not freaking out. They're not doing anything to me. They might buzz by my head a little bit. I got long curly hair that they could get stuck in. So I don't want to hear any women saying, "Oh no, the bees are in my hair." They're not bothering me one bit. I'm not bothering them. I like this is actually kind of this would be equivalent to bird watching, I think, for some people, because they're really active. Like those two just actually took a little tumble on the ground right there. I don't know exactly how bees mate, so I'm just assuming he's fighting with all of these. But this happens every year. It doesn't affect me badly anyway. It doesn't affect my garage or my fence badly anyway. We have not noticed a big bunch of holes in any of our structures. And that would probably be because they're choosing the compost pile and not our structures. The compost pile being a wild pile of decaying matter with the natural woods and stuff in it. That's what they're going to gravitate towards to live in, not this man-made treated wood structure. That's not appetizing to them. They've got to eat through layers of paint and primer and whatever else was used in this wood. This isn't the wood that they want. If you have treated wood around your property, like whether it's treated with chemicals, professionally treated, or if you just have it really, really well oiled, you're not going to have any problems with carpenter bees. Because my fence is completely untreated, just because we put it up ourselves with what materials we could find and afford. And there's not a single carpenter bee hole in it. But every single year, we've got carpenter bees just like this that stake out my compost pile as a territory because I have a good garden. That's all that means. That is literally all that means. And if you respond to the carpenter bees choosing your garden as a good territory by treating it with pesticides, you're no longer going to have a good garden. This is a good sign. This is a sign of a good, healthy garden. You want to see these carpenter bees taking out a territory like this. My partner's family, they have a spot in their garden where the carpenter bees are doing the same thing to a slightly lesser degree. There's just one guy who's chasing off everybody. I got about, looks like a dozen at least competitors right here. Boy, they're really going at it. But yeah, carpenter bees are completely harmless. They cannot sting you. They cannot bite you. They're not going to do anything to harm you. They're going to pollinate your garden. And they're a great sign that you have a good, healthy garden. Please, please don't spray them with chemicals.